Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be really loud for a second. This is Film School Lifeline, episode 6, Mark. Okay, that's gonna be really loud. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are
Back.
back and want to give our sincerest apologies for the little hiatus that we took.
Yeah, we weren't expecting how busy and stressed the semester would be making us. So like right after cycles ended, it was just downhill from there.
It really was. And you know what? We didn't expect that, but it's a part of learning and growing and film school in general, I guess. But you know what? We're back and better than ever.
Yeah, we're living, we're moving on.
It's summer. As you can see, we are in a new location, which is so exciting. I had to move, which is kind of sad. But also, you know what? New journey, new location, all fun things. Sean also just recently moved.
Yes, I did. Finally. Closer to campus. Oh my gosh.
How was moving for you?
It wasn't that bad, actually. I do hate packing. Like,
yeah.
I genuinely hate packing. Like, I'm good at it, which is great. But it's always just like the last thing I want to do, because I've never stayed, even in undergrad, I've never stayed in one place for like more than one like leasing year.
Really?
I've always moved every single year.
Oh, that's crazy.
And that continues till now.
Yeah.
And so like sometimes I just really want to just like settle and just not like.
Well, hopefully this place you can stay for. At least in the third year of school.
Yeah, for like for at least a good while. And I like the move-in process was really good, and moving out was also very easy because one person was staying a little bit longer, so like it wasn't like much of a rush, and I could move out on my own time.
Yeah.
And it all just lined up with my schedules anyway, so it's just like it was pretty good. And then my parents helped me move out some of my furniture and move it to my new place, and that was basically it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And so yeah, as like move outs, like I've had some stressful move outs, and this was not that, so it was like very lucky, and I love my new place. I genuinely do. Like it's like my room is super spacious, the apartment is super spacious. Just found out who my neighbors were. Like my literal next door neighbors are some pretty good friends in the program, and so I'm just like, that was a huge surprise.
Yeah, and a lot of our friends already lived in that apartment complex,
exactly.
so
like it's like
a big party.
Yeah, I'm closer to everything, which is great. I don't have to drive 10 minutes just to like get to meet people. But yeah, you just moved in.
Yeah, so my moving story is a little bit funny. You know, funny haha, maybe, funny sad mostly. But I, for the month of June, actually had to pay rent on 2 different places because this new place that I'm living in, which I'm really excited about, started June 1st, and my other one ended June 30th. So my original plan was to take, and you already know this, but my original plan was to take my time during the whole month of June to just slowly move my things, like do it as I please, like not feel rushed, like, oh my gosh, I need to get all my stuff out by this day, need to get it in on this time. So that was like the one benefit of like having 2 places at one time. The bad news is I went home for a week to go see my family in Texas and everything, and that was really fun. But within the 1 week that I was gone, and then 2 of my other roommates were also gone out of the country, actually. My 4th roommate, who was staying in Orange the whole time, was there by herself, which has never been a problem before. People have stayed by themselves in that house before plenty of times. There was a man who was soliciting our house and, or loitering, like whatever you want to call it, but like not just like, was hanging around it, like quite literally came up to our porch, went to her window and was like playing with it, or like almost looking like they were trying to get in, or like was very curious about what was inside, and it was creepy.
That's crazy.
And I feel so bad because my roommate was dealing with this all by herself. And on the first day that it happened, she didn't notice till after the fact because we have a Ring camera. The Ring camera caught that a man had come onto the porch, looked through the window, and then left. And it only lasted like, I think it was like a minute or 2, but that's creepy enough. And so she was like, oh my God, what was that? But where we live is close to an area where we have a good amount of either like homeless people or just some interesting characters that will like walk around our house, which has never been something we've been like, concerned or thought it was dangerous. We've noticed that and been aware of it. But this was the first time someone actually came onto our property. And so then she was like, that's weird. I'll keep an eye out, but okay, benefit of the doubt, maybe someone was just maybe not in their sound mind. Like, she couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It happened again the next night, and this time she called the cops because she was like, same man. She could tell that it was the same man. Was able to see on the ring in live feed that like he was there. Called the cops, but he ended up leaving before cops were like fully aware of what was going on. So they didn't send anyone because he was already gone. But they're like, okay, next time this happens, call immediately and we'll be there as like quick as possible. And they're like, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But whatever. So she's on edge. I think it was like 2 or 3 days goes by where he wasn't there, but the house that we live in had a back house, like a full house property. They saw him one of the nights that she didn't, and they're like, we're pretty sure it's the same guy. So that third night, he comes back. This time, he quite literally comes in a car. Like, the first 2 times he had come on foot and had like a dog with him or something, but this last time he came in, like drove, parked right in front of our house, came up to the window, was there for a couple minutes. She immediately saw, placed her on speed dial. He's there. He like crawls away, and the cops were already on their way. But the cops get there 1 minute after he left because he was able to leave in his car this time. And so, of course, now there's fortunately like a case file or whatever, and like they took fingerprints because he left fingerprints on her window, but it was scary. And like I got back the day after this happened. And so then my roommate and I, who like I'm close with the roommates that I've been living with, she was like, I haven't been sleeping at the house. I've been sleeping with like my friends and just elsewhere because she's nervous. And I was like, so fair. So she's like, I suggest we all go find somewhere to stay. And so because my lease was starting, she was like, you might as well just move all your stuff out. So my whole plan of moving slowly and taking the whole month of June, I ended up having moved out of that place by, all of my stuff has pretty much been out there since June 2nd, which was crazy. And I was not planning to do it quickly. So like when I am packing, like you said, packing sucks. But the thing I like to do before packing is like, okay, I can go through all the things in my room that have just like either collected random trinkets or trash that I don't need. Yeah. I can donate clothes. I go through all the things that I don't need to bring with me to the next place. But I hadn't done that. Like my room was fine, but I hadn't gotten to do my process of like going through everything, whatever. I just kind of shoved everything in bags and brought it over. And I was very fortunate. One of our good friends, Roy, helped me move some of my harder things. One of my new roommates helped me move my mattress. Like, people were very helpful and very kind. And I had a friend let me stay the night with her one night, which was also really nice. So people were there in my corner, and like people have been in all of our corners. But it was just crazy start to June for us. Which again, this is so random, but I feel like moving is a part of any college experience. And so this was wild. I'm so weird. Don't even know how to begin to explain all of that. But you know what? Fun story. Everyone stay safe. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Yes. But other than that, okay, let's move on a little bit from packing and moving and all that fun stuff. But okay, it is summertime. We have just finished our first
full year
of grad school. Film school.
That's crazy.
It's wild to think about.
Crazy.
So today, we wanted to really focus on kind of like just an overall, like just conversation about what our first year was like. The things that we learned, the things that challenged us maybe more than we expected, maybe like some things that I think we should try to talk to our 1 year ago selves. Because I think that would be kind of fun. Because
like today or like before, like
maybe day before orientation or something. Okay. Because I was thinking about it and I was like, all these things, and I know we've talked about this on other episodes, but one thing that I have been really fascinated by is as I've gone through the program a little bit more and just like learned more about the film industry and the different roles and whatever, I've learned a lot, but I'm like, I have so much to go. And it's funny, the things that upset me now are things that a year ago I wouldn't even have dreamed of being like problems. I wouldn't have even known those problems could exist, or like those are things that I wanted to accomplish, but now I'm like, I need to do this and this and this, and that shows growth. Yeah. And I feel like we've both had moments for sure like that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Oh god, a year ago? Damn.
So wait, I said a lot of things. So where should we even start? Let's just talk about it. A year ago right now, June of last year. We would have. Where were we?
We knew we were going to Chapman.
okay, we knew we were going to Chapman. For
And-
me, I had not even been a month post undergrad.
And I'd been a full year, over a full year into my gap year.
Okay.
So like, oh, and I feel like last year in June, like, the first day of school, like first day of orientation, I feel like just felt so far away to me, like just so like out there, and something that I just couldn't like necessarily grasp until I was like into the thick of it. So like, it was just, God, yeah, no. Like, how has it been a year? I feel like I've lived like 3 different lifetimes since last year.
I feel like I've changed so much, and not necessarily like changed in a bad way, but just like I've grown so much. I've also, I think, grown more confident in myself and in like what I want to do. And it's funny because going in, I was like, I want to do cinematography. That is my goal. That is still my goal. And so it's not like that really has changed, but I've just learned that, okay, cinematography isn't just this one word that you're trying to accomplish. It's like director of photography, or it's like first AC, second AC. There's all these roles within it that I'm like, I love a lot of this. And now I get to really go find my niche or your style or whatever. Those are all things that I wouldn't have expected a year ago.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like last year, just like the concept of film school, like, especially coming from where I came from with just like a complete lack of experience in the word, and like let alone like the institutions of it, like I really did not know what to expect. Like, I knew Chapman was one of like the top 5 film schools in the country, and therefore probably like the world. And so like, I knew I was going to be getting some education and like some filmmaking experience, but I did not think it would be to like the caliber of where I am at today. And so it's just like, thinking back on it, it's just like, damn, this is really different from the expectations I had, mostly because like I didn't know what to expect. So it's just like, oh God, like, oh, I'm getting so reflective right now.
There's worse things to be.
I know, exactly. But no, like, it's just, oh, it's crazy to like just even think about.
Okay, let's break it down a little bit. Okay, so like we said, a year ago, what were kind of the thoughts and feelings you had going into orientation versus now? Like, what is something, maybe not even ourselves, but like the people that are in our shoes, that are going to be in our shoes, oh my gosh, I cannot speak, the people that are about to be coming into film school that might have been in a similar position to where we were, with like no film experience really prior, like maybe the little bit that we learned is not nearly to the caliber that we've been learning. Those people who are like, this seems like terrifying.
Yeah. What
is something that you wish you would have known, or wish someone could have told you beforehand?
Like going into orientation?
Yeah.
That's a great question, actually. I feel like it was so weird, because I feel like going into orientation, like, for those who don't know, and it may not seem like it to people, I am an introvert. I am massively I am massively introverted. It's especially apparent when I am in an environment with people I do not know. I'm one of those motherfuckers that just like cling on to a singular person I do know and stay with them for the rest of the night. So I knew going into this completely new experience, basically redoing college all over again.
Yeah.
Meeting all these new people, I'm like, okay, I need to try my hardest to branch out and actually try to make friends here as quick as possible, because then I can find my tribe.
Yeah. And mind you, so the way our orientation worked, very different than like an undergrad one where there's all these like activities and whatever. It was pretty much like jump right into, okay, this is kind of how the school works. It was a lot more like panel based, and someone was talking to you, which was honestly kind of nice at first, because you weren't pressured into like having to go introduce yourself to a ton of people.
Yeah.
But on the first day of orientation, after you went through a bunch of different kind of workshops, kind of panels, all that fun stuff, where you didn't have to do a ton of interacting.
Yeah, like info dumps and stuff like that. Yeah.
The end of that night was when there was like a big dinner with all the new graduates, which that was when things really got intimidating, because it was like you were seeing people, but you weren't really doing a whole lot of talking to the people around you at first, and then all of a sudden you're like placed in this room, and it's actually one of the stages, which is so funny. But they had a bunch of tables out with tablecloths, and they were like cinematography students, and like they had multiple tables, or like directing students, and so you kind of just went and found your category or your emphasis or whatever, and sat there, and then you waited for other people to like come to the table. And so it was just kind of funny to where you'd be like, oh my god, I'm about to meet so many people, I'm gonna have to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am very extroverted, but at the same time, that'll get anyone. Like, I love talking to new people, I love meeting people, but at the same time I was like, oh my god, we're about to meet everyone we're about to be with for the next
3 years. Yeah.
Which is like,
which is like no pressure. Yeah. Well, no, yeah, like, oh, what advice would I give? I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like when you're going into that sort of experience and you don't have really anything of note to compare it to, oh god, it's so fucking basic, but I really just say like take it day by day, like, and just like it. The first day was definitely like first day of orientation was definitely like incredibly intimidating, because that was also the day that I found out that like there were only 18 cities in the program, and I was like, I'm one of 18, and then that literal second, like a tinge of imposter syndrome kicked in, and so it was just like it was so intimidating that day, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to have felt like that, just because like in this huge room of people who are like so talented and everything like that, but it's just like, know that you are there for a reason. Like, you can be feeling any and all of the feelings that you want to feel. Those are all completely valid. It's like, and you're in this completely new environment, you don't really know what to expect, and like it is terrifying, like first going into it, but like just know that they chose you to be there for a specific reason, and that's because they saw potential in you. And so you just got to keep reminding yourself of that, so that way you can keep going and continue on and like actually make use of the time you have there. That would be my advice.
No, that's great advice. I definitely could have used that. I'm thinking back, and I'm like, oh yeah, could have used that one, the whole take it day by day thing, because it definitely at the beginning too was kind of like a roller coaster where you were so excited and ready to be there, and this was also exciting, but then it would hit you, you're like, oh my gosh, now it's actually happening, this is terrifying, like I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then it would be in waves of like, oh my gosh, all these new people, that's great, oh my gosh, all these new people, that's terrifying. Yeah, so I think being present definitely is really good advice. I'd also say too is just, again, very cheesy, and I feel like there's a reason cheesy advice or cliche advice is cliches, because it works and it's true, but was truly just be yourself, because that's when you find the people that will mesh with you. And you never want to start a new environment trying to be someone you're not, because eventually either you're going to get sick of pretending to be someone you're not, or you're going to change a lot, and that maybe could be okay, but like at the end of the day, if you're content and happy with who you are, you're going to attract people that also enjoy you for you, and you'll just live a more authentic and fun life. And I feel like you and I met very quickly, like, and we were both just being authentic and ourselves, and we ended up getting lunch on like the second day, because we were like, we had the day after, we had a little bit of time in between two different like workshops or whatever it was, and I was like, I'm hungry, you want to go get food? Yeah, okay. Let's go. And then we bond, and now look where we are. Like, that's crazy. It made me laugh. You posted something on Instagram about like a reflective, or not even like a huge one, just like a photo dump of your year. And I remember I commented, I was like, I can't believe I haven't even known you for a year yet.
No, and
it's
still true. It hasn't even been a full calendar year.
It won't be till late August. And I'm like, that's bizarre. That like can't be right. I'm like looking back and I'm like, that's not true. How is it true?
No, because like I literally remember like when we met, and it was so funny because like I didn't know there were two cinematography tables. There were two cinematography tables. Yeah. In one of the stages at Chapman, like they like Amelia said, like they broke it up into cohorts.
Yeah, and it was also like these tables could fit maybe like 8 to 10 people at them, and so of course all these emphases had about like 18-ish people, like give or take a couple. So like you're not gonna fit everyone at one table.
Yeah.
So we happened to be sitting next to each other at the.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like I initially went to the other cinematography table because that one was more full, and I saw like empty seats. And I'm like, oh, slay, you know. And then like it was like filled with all of our other Chinese cohorts, like. And so I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh. And then I'm like, I was just like,
they're really, really sweet, but
they are. But they were all like, they're all speaking in Mandarin, and I'm just like, okay, like I'm used to this. I'm used to like, you know, being an introvert. I'm used to like just sitting in silence and just like, you know, eavesdropping and stuff like that.
It's definitely one thing though to like sit in silence when you can understand what's going on versus when you're like, I have no idea what's being said.
And so I was just like looking around, and then I see like there's another cinematography table like behind me. And it was only you and Avanya at that table, and
which
so
is
like,
crazy.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll join that one, and like maybe I can strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
And then like I walked over, I was like, hey, like, hey guys, and then you complimented my pants because my red camo pants.
Oh yes.
And I was like, I remember that was the first thing you said to me. I was like, oh, thank you. You know, so that was the time we met.
I forgot about that. I knew that's when we met, but I was like, I forgot about the pants. But I love those pins, so I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, orientation ended up being pretty fun, and like, it was truly like a intensive, like, it was like a boot camp almost.
It was.
If you have film experience, it would have been a lot less intimidating, but like, someone who's never been in like film production experience, like, you literally started off with, okay, you're gonna learn how to do open a C-stand, and I'm like, I've never done this before, okay?
No, yeah,
and then all of a sudden, it's like, you know everything, and I was like, okay, the very basics, but it was an intensive.
Yeah.
It was boot camp for the couple days.
Yeah.
Which was so fun, but it was also really funny. My parents, so long story short, orientation and was the week before my birthday, and then my birthday was the Saturday. Like, so orientation happened Monday through Friday. My birthday was Saturday, then first day of school was Monday. So that was like crazy time, and obviously I was moving from a different state to California, drove up with all my stuff. So my parents were with me that whole week because they wanted to stay for my birthday because it was also my 21st. But they made plans while I was doing all the boot camp stuff. They went, and so there was one day when I remember I was like, oh my god, I'm learning so much. And they're like, sorry, we can't talk right now, we're at Disney. And I was like, oh yeah, have fun, I forgot about that. And then I like finished and I went back to like my house that I was moving into at the time, and they were still out because Disney goes late, and they were like, we're having so much fun, did you have a good day? And I was like, yes, but I'm so, what's going on? And so that was really funny. But it's just crazy to think that, I know we keep saying it, but a year ago, we've met so many new people.
Yeah.
We've made 3 different projects, regardless of how they have gone.
Yeah.
Like 3 full projects.
3 full projects with our age attached to it, yeah.
2 semesters done of school, of good classes. We've written plenty of things. We've helped on other people's projects. Like, we've started to find things that we're really interested in doing beyond just being a director of photography. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, no, it genuinely is. And it's just like, I keep saying it to anyone and everyone that will listen, and I'm such a broken record, but I will never not be floored by how much I have learned this past, again, not even full year. It hasn't even been 12 months. These past like 8 months. Like,
yeah, 8
9. Like, it's literally insane. So I can never just sit and think about it for too long, or else I'll actually like lose my mind.
Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, I feel like this is a good segue, but what do you think one of the most valuable things you've learned this year has been? I know there's a lot, but like one, I'll go first too, if you want a second to think about it.
Yes.
I'd say for me, and this kind of goes back into like the advice I was giving, was like, you will start to find, like you said, your tribe, your crew of people that you really like working with because you just get each other. And you also want to work with people that you get along with beyond just a co-working relationship. Like, you want to hopefully be friends.
Yeah.
Set days are long. They're minimum, like at school we do 12-hour days, but you're also like probably carpooling with people. If you have a drive to go somewhere, you might be getting food afterwards. You're spending so much time with these people. So hopefully you're finding people that you really enjoy spending hours and days on end with, because pre-production is a long process, post-production is a long process. Working with the people that understand you and your work, but you can also trust them to do their work and believe in them to do the things that they are learning to do, like they're here in school for. And I think that was one thing that took me a little bit that first semester, was, okay, our first projects we were assigned to people, and I was very, very fortunate with great people that are two of my best friends. But I didn't realize how lucky I was to work with them until, you start working on other sets and you realize you're like, okay, not every set is as cohesive or as like friendly as no two sets are built the same. But when you start, again, you work with the people that you like working with again and again, you start getting consistency and you start getting just, and I don't want to say the word comfortable because I feel like that has a bad connotation, but you know how the other people operate in the same way they know how you operate, and then you can really make some magic together. Like that's why when you see in the film industry, you have so many directors who have like longtime DPs that they've worked with for project after project, or like editors and directors that always work together, or composer, like every part of the industry, you see people have their people. And so it's been really, really cool to find that, because that's how like magic is made. And I mean, I've seen it, yes, at school, we do a lot of projects at school, but also we've started to do some stuff outside of school, which has been really cool. And like recently I shot a music video for someone I met at a networking event, and that was really cool. All the people that were on my crew helping, you, Roy, Anthony, Avanya, like people that I already hang out with in a social setting, love to go get dinner or movies or whatever we're doing. Like we all love hanging out, but then we can also work together and things go well. And like that's really cool.
No, God. Most valuable thing I've learned. I feel like my mind immediately went to like something that someone like told me, but I feel like it's a lot more introspective than that. Like, I think this also goes back to sort of my advice. Maybe I was projecting with my advice a little bit, but just really learning and teaching myself like not to constantly put pressure on me, and just like learn to be just like uber fucking confident in the work that I put out, because I know that if it comes from me, then I know it's good. And it's just having that sort of confidence in yourself that like it will be okay, and like your work is still really good fucking work. And I feel like that also just comes from like the place I went to in undergrad. Like I feel like UC Berkeley was just super fucking competitive, so you really weren't like, you really never had time to like get up and like breathe without having to feel like back into the action again, and so that sort of mindset is always with me, where I'm just like, it can always be better, it can always be better, it can always be better. But like here, I feel like I've learned to just sort of like lean back a bit and just trust that the research I do and the things that I personally put my heart into like are good, and like they are good as is. Like I can always make them better, and I will always make them better, and it's just, but like I will never strive for anything past what I know my limits are. So it's, I would say that's the most valuable thing I've learned, and I'm still learning to ingrain it in myself. Like there's always days where I'm like, God, where like again like the imposter syndrome kicks in. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, or like I look at other people's work, I'm like, God damn it, like I wish I could think like that. But then it's also just like, okay, I need to recenter myself and keep telling myself that one, I am here to learn first and foremost. Two, I lost my train of thought. I lost it. Anyways, when it comes back, y'all are in for a real treat. But it's like, but no, that's basically the gist. Just kind of just like really having just lots and lots of faith and trust in yourself. So it kind of goes like the inward way of yours.
Yeah.
Or like both finding people that you do trust to bring the best out in you, but also being able to trust yourself to do the same.
No, and I agree 100%, because the other thing that I was totally going to say was just, again, cliche, but there's a reason it is comparison is the thief of joy. And like, if you're constantly comparing your work to what other people are doing, you're never going to be either proud of yourself for what you have accomplished or how much you've grown, or even just like, even when you failure, you still learn so much and can grow so much from, to where if you're looking at what everyone else is doing, you're never going to be satisfied with your own. And the thing is, there's one thing to be like hungry for more, and it's okay to be like, okay, this is a good spot, but I know I can do more than this. Like that, I think is really healthy and like great. And I know I get super competitive, so wanting to always like one up myself and do better and be better, I think that's totally good and something that people should have. But not to the extent where you're like, wow, my stuff was shit, I hate it, everyone's is so much better, woe is me type of deal. And even if you don't mean it that way, it's, I think, really important to constantly just be working towards like being better, but also being content and proud of where you are and how much you've grown. And I feel like that's one thing too, like a lot of times it's really hard, and this is something I need to work on, but like especially with like my most recent project, I like kind of look at it and I'm like, I could have done this better, I could have done this, like all these different circumstances that played into it. But at the end of the day, I need to remember that, okay, I have grown so much. These things that I'm being really picky about right now, a year ago, would never have thought those are things that I would even be concerned about, because I wouldn't have even known they have existed. And so that, I think, is just so important in growing, like in just this journey of film school and beyond, like into the real world and into more projects and all that.
And I feel like to go on to the like valuable lesson type B thing, like I feel like going into every project with the mindset that I know, like, no matter what I do, I know I won't regret the things I do leading up to this production, that honestly helps me a lot. I never want to have the feeling that I regret something that I did in a project. And luckily I have yet to have that feeling.
But like you said, if you know that at the end of the day you did everything you could and that is the project you came out with, then it truly is just a matter of time and growing and practice and learning. But like, you can at least be proud that I gave everything that in that moment I had to it. And that's huge. Because like you said, I don't think people regret making mistakes or failing. I think people regret not trying. And that is so much more, like, those are the things that are going to haunt you. You're like, oh, I had this idea, but then I didn't try it because I thought I was going to fail anyway. What if you didn't? Or even if you did, maybe then you would know how to try it again for next time in a way that you could accomplish it exactly how you want.
And honestly, that's another really valuable lesson too, just going off of that. Be ambitious. Take risks. You're quite literally, for those of you who want to pursue film school and you get the opportunity to be in film school and you're quite literally going to school to take risks. Take risks in your work. Take risks in your art. Because what is art without risk? Like,
okay, but then, like, okay, exactly. What is art without risk? It's nothing. But then also, when are you gonna have a time to be in such a safe space to fail and to take risk? Because in the real world, when you're starting to get hired on things, there's like, and especially when you're starting to build up the ladder or like however you go about it, it's very, I mean, I don't say it's very unlikely, but like big projects probably aren't going to come to you immediately, like from school. You're going to start being PAs or ACs or whatever it is, and like that's really important. But like, this is the time when you have autonomy to be like, we're going to try this really big thing, we're going to do XYZ, and if it doesn't work, okay, it was school. Hopefully there wasn't too much money put into it. Like, the school provides money, which is huge. They provide equipment and whatever. And so this is the time to take that risk, not when you're expected to make something for a client or whatever and you do something that they didn't ask for, and then they're like, why did you do that? You know, and not to say that you won't have time to take risks in the future, but this is truly the time to do it.
Because like, I feel like no matter what, whether it works out or not, it's still in the benefit of you. If it works out, fucking great. Keep doing it. Like, keep going. And if it doesn't, that's also fucking great because you learn from it. Because like, I feel like a huge misconception, I feel like, especially in our year, is that like film school is like, you're here to just to only make films. Like, school is in the name, y'all. Like, you are here to learn. That is what school is. Like, it's like everything is a learning experience. And so I feel like just having that mindset and being able to like accept that just will make you go such a long way.
Yeah. And I think there's a very healthy balance between like, yes, film school is school at the end of the day. We're here to learn and grow, and like, you should be always learning. Like, we have many professors who say that they love teaching because it forces them to keep learning, because you can get so complacent, or like you stop realizing that there's things to learn when you've been in the real world for too long. And like, being a lifelong learner is something that I always strive to be, and I love that word, or like that phrase, because I feel like it's so true. You always constantly want to be learning. But then with that being said, the healthy balance being like, just because a student doesn't mean you can't accomplish huge things. So also go out, make good projects, treat your every set like it's a professional set. Don't just get complacent with like, oh, we are students. So like, that healthy balance between make sure you're learning in school, but then also make sure you're performing like a pro and do like to the best of your ability. Like, I feel like just finding that, and that's like the key to some success.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on a little bit, what would you say is one of your funniest memories from this semester or this year? I know I need to think about it, but I'm like, what are some fun? I know, I feel like I've done so much laughing, which is huge and great, but I'm also like, I'm trying to think of if we had any particular moments, or maybe not even like the funniest, but what are some memorable moments, school related or not?
You want to know what the first thing that came to mind?
What was?
Sparkle pets.
Okay, do you want to tell the sparkle pets?
Have we told the story yet?
I feel like we've told it briefly, but
okay.
I feel like not to the full extent that it deserves.
So, we were helping out one of the second year Cinnies, Ben, crack DP. Jesus. Oh my god, he's
very impressive.
So talented. On his cycle 2, which is what we're currently going into right now. It's our only project in second year, and we film it in the fall. So this was last December.
Or I think his filmed in like October, November. It was one of the later
November.
ones.
It was November.
I think it was November.
It was November. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking role play. Yeah, last November, and we helped him on like half a day of set. One
of the days of 3. Like, we couldn't be there very much. Like, I had been on a different set of Ben's, and like, he's extremely impressive and like always being very ambitious, and so I feel like I learned a lot from that set, and so I was like, if I can, I want to be on at least one day.
Yeah.
And so we end up deciding to go, and honestly, I don't really know how this ended up working, because typically people are shooting Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
For some reason, I think they got approved to shoot on a Wednesday, and the reason we know that
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
They shot during the week. And the reason we know that is because we had a class Wednesday night. We also had something Wednesday morning, I think, which is the reason we had to do like a half day.
Yeah.
But so basically, we left Orange, got to the place probably around like noon, I want to say.
It was right in time for their lunch.
Yeah. So we got there right at halfway, and then stayed until a little bit past like
6 p.m.
their wrap time. But we were like, you know what, the least we can do is half a day, and obviously we knew we would probably be a little bit late to class because they were shooting in LA, like in Griffith Park, and so we were gonna have to drive from there to get to class at 7, which was gonna be impossible, but we figured as long as we're less than an hour late, like, we'd still make 2/3 of the class. And it was also Michael Grady's class, who was one of our favorite professors ever, so we were like, he's gonna understand that we were helping, because Ben was also his TA that semester, so it was all interconnected.
It was yes.
But so we end up getting there at noon right for lunch. That was all great, and then after lunch is when everything starts happening.
Yeah. Like, mind you, during lunch, it started to rain. This was an outdoor set, mind you, because like,
outdoor set in Griffith Park in the
in like Hollywood area, Hollywood Hills,
but not the Griffith Park where you're like, oh, this is where you sit and have a picnic. This is like the dirt and the hiking
near
and
some,
the
like caves and shit, like mountainous sort of regions. Like it's raining. It was cloudy all day, mind you, and rain was in the forecast. We knew, but like it's just
okay, this is fine.
It was raining, and so like we had lunch at base camp where it was like under tents, and like it was raining pretty hard. Like it was pooling on the tents that people like.
And you have to like press it up so the water would come down. So
or
it
like it was also kind of strong winds too, because like the wind would also kind of push the water up. So if you were sitting like at the edge of the tent, like you had risk of being splashed with cold rainwater like down your back. And so lunch ended. I feel like the rain kind of died down a teeny bit.
So we were like, oh, we can get back to it.
Period. Like, you know what? It's not that bad.
And so, okay.
Famous last words. But
so the scene that they were shooting or they were going back to or whatever, since what we were walking into was they had built this like kind of greenhouse tent type vibe. Like the story takes place in like post-apocalyptic or like current apocalyptic world. Like something like kind of supernatural, but like sci-fi. Yeah. But the thing is we didn't know any of the story, but we were able to put it together because our job ends up being, because it's windy and because it starts raining, and they honestly had a pretty large crew, so we were able to do jobs like this. But me and a couple other, like us two, and a couple other people, our job ended up being like, okay, nothing's moving really from here, so you're just gonna hold up this giant like 24 by 12 solid, and of course the solids are already like a heavier, denser material.
Especially like even like a 12 by is pretty big, heavy,
but
and
it was
pretty
like
big. And
it was 24 by, wasn't it?
Maybe.
It was huge. It was really
I know they
big.
Used multiple.
Yeah, it was either
rags.
We used multiple 12 bys or it was like I really feel like it might have been a 24 because I feel like it went on so long, but I might be so wrong. But our job is to just literally hold it on the combos that they were on, because we had one of those frames holding it from like the center of it, and then I don't think it was either they didn't have enough stands or like I don't know exactly how it happened, but they just needed extra no, I think it was just because it was so windy and it started to rain that it got really heavy that they just needed extra support. Yeah. And so we ended up becoming the people holding it up.
The term is blood bagging, by the way.
Oh,
like
I didn't know that.
we were blood bags, like holding up these, like weighing down the stands while also holding up these the rags. And like when I mean holding up, I mean like I'm standing on this stand, like currently on its legs, like not on the ground, and I am lifting it up like during a take, just like, and like the reason why it was there also is for them to like just get more contrast in like the shot.
Which like is important.
It is.
And you know, I totally no, this is not shade, this is nothing. Like had this been a sunny, beautiful day, easy money. Like this would have been perfect. So good. Yeah. But it was cloudy and rainy and oh my gosh.
And like we were there from like when lunch wraps, like around like 1 or like 12:45 till they wrapped, which was at 5:30.
Yeah, but then because it starts, and here's the thing. So we're holding it, and it's like consistently raining the whole time, but not like pouring.
It's like showers.
But like it
would
is
stop
raining.
and go.
But finally, when they finished that scene and it was time to go, it starts pouring. So thank God that the camera was fine. Camera was like able to be put away really quickly. Like that was safe. But everything else, it starts downpouring. It's dark because it's November and it gets dark so early. And we have like one light out being like the work light. And all of us are like trying to trek stuff through this dirt that's becoming mud. And not just like, oh, it's like a little muddy. Like
it's mud.
Thick mud that was very just, it was going deep. And when you're trying to roll wheels in it, they're getting stuck and everything's getting dirty. And honestly, I felt really bad, because there was like not a whole lot any of us could do to keep it from getting dirty, but like that was wild. But it was like honestly, the funny thing though is that even though this was all going on, we still quote the scene that they were working on this whole time for like since that shoot.
Since November, mind you. Like it's been what, 7 months?
Yeah, it's been a long time. and people quote, or like we quote it and we have it memorized, and it's funny, so now other people. Oh, okay, hold on.
Sorry, there's a fire truck.
Interesting.
Hold for fire truck.
Okay, silly. But no, now people even know us as being able to quote this scene.
Yeah.
Because it was so funny, because months later, when all the people were doing the Cycle 2 screenings, Ben texted me at one point and was like, screening on May 2nd, your favorite lines. And I remember being like, oh, I know exactly which one. And so that was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was super memorable, and
it was like it was very like on the day we were like, what the fuck did we just
and then the funniest thing too is like we're soaked, right? And then we get in my car and we're in my car for like an hour and a half because
it's rush hour traffic because it's 6 p.m.
and then
on Wednesday night.
We're like, oh, do we go to class or not? We're like, no, we go to class. It's Grady.
It's
like,
Grady.
And we told him, we were like, if we get there in time, we're gonna go. And so we got there right at like 8. So I was impressed that we really just only missed like, and again,
like
we missed an hour, but our classes are like 3 hours long, so it's only a third of the class. We get in there, and we don't have clothes to change into because we weren't thinking. And so we walk in and we're like shivering and drenched, and we go sit right in our seats were available, like right in the front row that we always sat in. And we just go and we sit down and we're like, oh my gosh. And so I was shivering the whole rest of class, and I looked rough. But it was just so funny because then everyone was like,
you guys looked dead up.
Like, like,
if only you knew. But no, like it really is like, I think we just gave it like a day, and it was already something we could like look back at and laugh. Yeah. Because it's just
and then,
like
it was also so quotable.
Wild.
I still haven't seen the final product, but I need to go watch it.
Because it did not screen on May 2nd. Actually, it did not screen, period.
But you know what? That's okay, because I do think I could go find it on PHQ.
Oh,
I think everything's on PHQ, so we need to have like a binge day for like all of them. Because I haven't seen really any. I've only went to the one screening day.
Oh, wow.
And mind you, I would go to as many screenings as I could, but of course they were doing Cycle 2 screenings during one of our class times. And so I was going to class.
I did not go to class.
Okay, Sean, the lifelong learner.
But yeah.
No, I will watch them. I need to watch them soon. But yeah, honestly, I feel like that's kind of a good little. What is going on outside? Oh my god.
I hope whoever they're going to, I hope they're okay.
Yeah. Hold for sound. Okay. So odd. Mind you, that has not been happening really at all since I've moved here. Yeah. So weird, inexplicable, but you know what? It's strange. Okay. Any final words for a little year 1 recap?
Oh God. No.
No. You know what? If you're considering film school, you should apply. Because I think it is so worth it. And I know a lot of you guys who listen are already in film school because thank you, friends.
You're our peers. We love you.
But I'd also say like it's been so great meeting everyone, and I hope to keep making new friends and fostering friendships that maybe could grow a lot more 100%. And all that fun stuff. And so this has been so fun. I'm getting sentimental, low-key. Where I'm like, a year's already done. We only have 2 left.
Just like,
it's just crazy.
And especially with how invaluable the year it was.
Oh my gosh.
Like, not only in terms of just like social experiences, but also just like educationally and just like creatively. It's just,
I will definitely think very fondly of this
100%.
year. Even given all the ups and many downs. It was overall a really, really great year.
It was. It definitely was. And I'm very excited to go into second year.
Me too.
Like, very excited to see how both our cycles turn out. I'm
really excited for this year. I think good things are really coming for us.
Yeah, especially with our crews. Like, our crews are coming together. It's looking so good, y'all. It's looking so good.
And we will be better about updating that as it happens.
Yes. 100%.
Going forward.
Yes, we will try to be better. But and consistently rolling out episodes.
You know what? Things get crazy, but we'll maintain better consistency.
Yes.
Honestly, I think this semester, just schedule-wise, it's gonna work out way better in general.
100%. And I do, like, even with like cycles and everything, I do feel like we'll have like a little bit of a lull, but like it's just like.
And most of our classes at night anyway. This semester too, it seems like. So
we have the day.
We have the day, and it'll be way easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, this has been Film School Lifeline.